Joining our conversation is billionaire businessman, entrepreneur Mark Cuban, live for us in the room in Pittsburgh. You missed our big build-up. Everything that we say about you is sure to trigger Kamala Harris's opponent, Donald Trump. But I want to hear from you what parts of this will resonate with the kinds of voters she still needs to move into her column ahead of November.
Well, the big question, obviously, is the economy. And, you know, the people on the right, they're always talking about being a Marxist or a communist, which is ridiculous. And she really put that to bed today. She was very clear that she was going to partner with business. She was going to give business incentives to grow, that she respected and supported every size business from small to large. And that really the future of our country militarily, economically, is going to be driven by new technologies that she understands and that she supports. It's just just so different from what Donald Trump is doing, and I think it's a real positive for the entire business community.
I mean, she didn't sound like a politician, Mark. We were talking about how, you know, she turned to the audience and really the country with her question. You know how long it took to build the Empire State Building? 1 year. I mean, she's sort of aligning herself with how all of us see the things that confound us and saying, as president, I'll ask why. I'll get to the bottom of why it takes so long. That sounds like the kind of advice you might appreciate.
Oh, no, I loved it, right? When she talked about the Empire State Building and the Pentagon being built so quickly, I had no idea. But she had also talked prior to that about removing red tape, about allowing building to happen faster so that we can get things done. And she talked about being open to new ideas so that when somebody comes in with a better way to do it, we'll iterate, we'll review, we'll do it a better way. Whatever's the best way, that's what she wants to do. She said very clearly she is not an ideologue. She doesn't care about supporting what the historical ideologies were. She wants to do the right thing. She wants to help the economy. She wants to help the middle class. She wants to help businesses grow, which benefit the middle class. She said all the right things.
One of the things that she did very effectively, and it wasn't the bulk of the speech, is the burns on Donald Trump were brutal. She went after him for the Carrier plant in Indianapolis, offshoring jobs. She said 200,000 manufacturing jobs were lost. She described him as the, quote, biggest loser ever on manufacturing. Why does Trump even have the perception of being good on the economy?
I mean, he's a good salesperson. You know, he talks a good game, but it doesn't mean he follows through or gets the job done. And that's part of what she has to communicate. And I think she got a good start in doing that and was able to communicate that with Carrier as an example. Look, the starkest difference between the two, Donald Trump wants to threaten companies. We saw him threaten John Deere with a 200% tariff. That doesn't do anything to make John Deere's business better. In fact, it makes it easier for Chinese companies to compete with John Deere even after a 10 or 20% tariff. What did Kamala Harris say? She says she's going to incent companies to grow and build. She's going to offer tax incentives. She's going to make it easier to borrow money, the things that companies need to grow. So one is a hammer and the other is a carrot, right? How do we help businesses grow? That's such a stark difference. The other huge difference between the two, Donald is just so impetuous. He's so impulsive in everything he says about policy. You can tell that the Kamala Harris team has vetted every single thing she said. Not just does it sound good, does it poll good, but really is it good, strong policy. When I talked to her, you know, the key message she gave to me was these are policies that we've really thought hard about, that are important to me. We want to make them work. She's not just a sales rep just saying what she thinks the customer might want to hear. She's a good CEO who says we need to do this right because I'm responsible to my stakeholders and we need to make sure we do it the right way. You could not have a greater difference between two candidates.
You are such an interesting advocate for her as the leader on the economy, for her as the pragmatist. And I wonder, I've seen you asked questions about your thoughts about Donald Trump, but I wonder, you're sort of a conversion story, right? You knew him. I think at some point you supported some of what he was for, and you've had an about face. Can you just tell us your Donald Trump story?
Yeah, I mean, I've known him for 25 years. And, you know, I've had various interactions with him, got to, you know, talk to him. We weren't best friends, but in 2015, when he came down the escalator, in 2016, early on, I was like, okay, this guy is not a traditional politician. But I also presumed that he would start to learn and really take an interest in the job and what it takes to run the country and, you know, learning the issues and the details. And I got to the point where I realized he had no interest in learning. He had no interest in details. He had no interest in really finding out what it takes to be successful with any policy. And it was kind of crazy. One time I spoke negatively about him, and he sent me the way he sends an email, right? He writes it out, somebody scans it, and then someone sent that as an email to me, and he said, "What happened?" And literally what I said to him is, "Donald, you're not taking the time to learn the issues. You're not taking the time to learn the details. That is a problem that I can't support." And that's where we kind of diverged and went in our different directions. And he hasn't changed. No one talking about Donald Trump says, "Boy, that really was a nuanced position. Boy, he really was able to show us a detailed policy depth on what he was talking about." It's the exact opposite. Whenever Donald Trump says something, everybody else has to explain for him what he said, right? He can't ever, it's never like, "Okay, I'll get to that. I didn't convey it right. I'll give you the details on why I said what I said." It's the opposite. It's all his acolytes, all his supporters saying, "No, this is what he really meant." It's the opposite with Vice President Harris. When she says what she says, everybody knows what she means. That is such a stark difference between the two. And that's why I got off him. He had no interest in the details.
Well, and it's such a bad bet. I mean, how do you explain any of your peers in business standing with him? His policies are anti-growth, they're protectionist, and his instability seems like the greatest liability any democracy or any economy could contemplate.
Well, most people don't look at the big picture, right? You've got some of the Silicon Valley bros, right? The hardcore tech people like Elon that I truly believe think they can manipulate him, right? It's happened before where people wanted to be the adult in the room and turned around and tried to get him to do what they wanted, and it never worked out well for them. But I think that's really where they're coming from. Hey, I can convince this guy to do what I need him to do for my business or whatever ideas that they may have. And then there's folks in the middle where it's purely just a tax issue, right? Hey, my taxes will be 20% versus 28% with Vice President Harris for corporate taxes. But what I try to say to them is, if you're almost all large companies do international business, and if you're importing anything at all, if you're adding a 10 or 20% tariff to what you import as a company, it's going to cost you far more than the delta between 20% from Trump and 28% from Kamala Harris, right? So you're going to lose more money with Trump. And most people don't do that math. And so that's my job, to get out there and explain it to them, that a tariff plus 20% is more expensive than a straight 28%.
There was a line that sounded like it might resonate with the sharks, right? She said, quote, "There's no incubator like America." Just talk about, right?
Greatest line ever. Greatest line.
Talk about how important that is for people to hear.
So the reason I've done Shark Tank, which I love, for 15 years, is we get to send the message that the American dream is alive and well. The one thing that separates this country from every other country in the world, that every single person you talk to at some point in their life has said, "I have this idea. I have this goal to create something bigger, to have an impact, and to turn it into something special." And they go around, and in this country, people encourage you to go out and start that business. And the best part about what she said, the best part about this country, is it could be a kid, it could be a 12-year-old in a basement, it could be an 18-year-old in Idaho, it could be someone in Nebraska, and they're able to go out and create something unique. And I always tell entrepreneurs, just ask yourself one question. Why not me? Why not me? Why can't I be the person that goes out there and creates a business that changes the world? And that's exactly what Vice President Harris was communicating today, that every single person in this country has that entrepreneur in them, the ability to reach their American dream. And she's going to help lift them up, to put them in a position to succeed, to put them in a position where that American dream can come true. And not just for themselves and not just for the entire country, but she talked about AI. AI is going to impact the entire world. We have to win AI. And it wouldn't shock me if it was a 14-year-old boy or girl sitting in a classroom listening to what she said, who said, "You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start this AI company," and changes the world. That's why what she said was so important. I mean, it's just, no one has talked about anyone in our politics in this sort of future
owning the future, winning the future context in a long time. It's really such an interesting slice of that.
It's awesome, right?
It's awesome.
Donald
yes,
Trump,
I'm like,
Donald
can't stop
Trump calls
smiling. It's awesome. The thing too.
Donald Trump calls it the AI, right?
Exactly.
Donald Trump calls it the AI.
I think
when you call something the AI, that means you can't even spell AI.
Well, and George Bush used to, it was a long time ago, called Google the Google. So I'm a little sympathetic to that. My last question, I mean, I'm a huge fan, a Shark Tank
But I think
viewer
I lost you, Nicole.
Oh, I think we're losing you.
Oh, there
Mark,
you are. Okay. No, I got you back.
My last question was you're alone in the room with an Elon Musk. What is your plea in terms of voting for Harris, not just for the economy, but as you just said, for the future, for democracy?
I mean, Elon is Elon. I'm not worried about him. I think what a lot of business people don't get, I look at the Harris campaign as a company and Kamala as the CEO, right? She's had, what, 45 days, 60 days to build an entire organization. And you look at the results. She went from negative favorability ratings. She went from recognition being relatively low. She went from being way behind in every single poll you looked at. And now look where she's at. Worst case, she's tied. And in many cases, she's ahead. When you're able to turn around a battleship like a presidential campaign and go from being way behind to tied or ahead, you're doing a lot right. And on the flip side, if you had what seemed like an insurmountable lead, and now you've given up that entire lead to another CEO, you're getting fired. Right? So I think that's the beautiful part of looking at what she's doing. She's run her campaign like a CEO. She's had success. And when I go to talk to business people, that's what I tell them. She's actually running her organization like a CEO. And that's the evidence that you need to know that she'll be a great leader, that she understands business, that she understands organizations, and she'll be a friend and partner to business across the board.